man? We back, Goodfellas Sports TV. Appreciate everybody for checking in. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, bell icon button, share the video. This is the breakdown prediction for Tony Harrison, WC title holder at the junior middleweight division versus Jermell Charlo, who had the title last year and lost it to Tony Harrison almost a year to the day they fight, and that was December 22nd in the Barclays Center last year. This year is December 21st. And yeah, I think it's going to be a really, really good fight. Obviously, if you don't know the backstory, they're fighting in Ontario, California. I think it's like Citizen Bank Arena. The reason that's happening, they couldn't decide on the venue. Now, originally, they were supposed to fight sometime in June at the Maryland Bay. And then in June at the Maryland Bay, they was having some issues deciding the venue to fight at. I believe Tony Harrison, wanted to fight in Detroit. Charlo wanted to fight in Houston. So they settled on Vegas. I don't think Vegas was an option. They couldn't figure a venue to fight at, and pretty much PBC ended up picking Ontario, California. So if you in Ontario, California, Southern California, check them out. And that's the reason why we in the venue we at. Now, obviously, I heard it's already an agreement for the winner to take on Julian J. Rock Williams. He's fighting January 18th in Philly. Jerry Hurd declined his immediate rematch clause. So now we hear Tony Harrison taking on Jermell Charlo, which let's talk a little bit about the fight. Harrison is 6'1", 76.5-inch reach arms. Charlo is like 74-inch arms and 5'11". And obviously they fought before, so this won't be a true traditional breakdown prediction video. But Tony Harrison, Jermell Charlo too. Jermell Charlo he fought once this year in June. So he's been a little bit more active than Tony Harrison. He got fast hands, pretty much got good aggression. He got good power. And, at the end of the day, that's pretty much what he did good last time. He pressed the action. He made the fight. He pressed on the front foot. His left hook and right hand, made some eye-catching moments in the fight. His stamina was amazing in the fight before, even though he didn't throw a lot of combinations. For somebody to be loading up on one or two big shots so much, he still was fresher in the later rounds. And if you looked at the fight, Derek James told him in the later rounds, stop loading up on your shots and let your shots flow a little bit better. He tended not to listen to his coaches for whatever reason that is. But that's what he did well last fight. His jab was good. He even landed some good counter punches here and there. Tony Harrison, what he did? His footwork was good. His hand speed was good. And he showed a different dimension. This was a guy that was known for backing guys out of their frame and knocking them out. People say, well, he got a weak chin, but it's not the chin weak. A lot of times versus Willie Nelson and Jerry Hurd, he ran out of gas. And, pretty much last fight, Charlo enabled him not to run out of gas because he didn't cut the ring off. But, hey, Tony Harrison, good jab, good right hand, good left hook, tall, rangy, slick guy, good defense, good footwork. And that's all worked for him for the last fight. Now, for Jermell Charlo, what didn't work for him last time is he didn't cut the ring off. And not cutting the ring off really let Tony Harrison hang around and really get a decision. And had he cut the ring off better, Tony Harrison probably didn't see the 12th round, but also he probably would have got a more dangerous Tony Harrison because Harrison would have had no other choice but to fight back. But I'm going to take Charlo if he able to cut the ring off and had Harrison fighting off the ropes out the corner. But he didn't cut the ring off. He loaded up on his shots too much, just looking for one or two big shots, didn't let his shots flow, didn't throw combinations the way he should have thrown. And I figured he could have went to the body a lot more, especially to slow a guy down who has stamina issues, But in a nutshell, that's pretty much what he did wrong. If he want to correct this wrong, he need to cut the ring off a lot better than he did. And, some different ways to cut the ring off. You can keep your jab pumping. You can, step to the way that he like to slide out. If Harrison like to slide out to his left, step to your right. And then if he try to slide out to his right, hey, just sit there and you drop the right hand exactly where you're going. So it's a way you can double jab to get guys out of position. You can feint, and go. So there's different ways to cut the ring off, but that's one of the things that he hasn't picked up with training with Derek James and Errol Spence and how to cut the ring off. And that's it for Tony Harrison. I feel that he need to be more aggressive. I think he need to change the cadence of his punches up a little bit more. I think he need to throw the lead right hand. I think he need to continue to throw the left hook. But also, just like Jermell Charlo, I think he need to mix in some harder shots with his combinations. Charlo need to mix in some softer shots, but he needs to throw more combinations. Touching with a couple and hit him with a couple hard ones. Like to see him throw 3 or 4 or 5 combinations a lot of the times instead of one or two big hard shots. But these two guys that believe in their power to a fault. But I think if somebody, put 3 or 4 or 5 shots together, I believe they'd be able to hurt each other, man. But, Harrison got some really good ring IQ, and so do Charlo. I believe Harrison is very, very patient, and he patient. But like I said before, if you watch a lot of Harrison older film, Harrison was looking for, the knockouts. You know what I'm saying? He was looking to knock Willie Nelson out. He was looking to knock Jerry Hurt out. And pretty much he did a lot of unnecessary moving, a lot of unnecessary loading up on his shots. His output was high, and his output wasn't good enough to match his stamina. So he paced himself versus Charlo, and Charlo allowed him to pace himself. But like I said, his weakness is he needed to throw a lot more combinations, sit down on some of his shots a lot more. He needed to throw, more than a 1-2 with a left hook and a right hand. And I believe he needs to step to Charlo and kind of push Charlo back a little bit. But, hey, man, it's a really, really good fight. And going back to the last fight, they did each one of these dudes did a lot of good things, man. And I think a lot of people felt that Charlo won. But the commentary, I just listened to it again. It was terrible. It was time where I had to go back and see Harrison land his shots, and they act like it didn't happen. So Harrison landed a lot of shots that they didn't give him credit for, man. And that's hella unfortunate, man. When commentators are rooting for another dude. But, if you Jermell Charlo, what should you do going into this fight, man? Obviously, what I wouldn't do, the do's and don'ts, what I wouldn't do is come out too hot. Emotional, hot, you cold, no matter if you warmed up. I wouldn't come out too hot. Sometimes you got to show this dude some respect. And I would come out a little bit more less extreme in this fight. Looking to be patient, working behind the jab. But I'm looking to put 3 or 4 punches together, man. I'm looking to put more than 1 or 2 shots together. I'm looking not to exchange big lever, but I'm looking to really tap, touch a guy, and then mix in my hard shots. But for him, he got to get Harrison at a place where he can get him stationary and exchange with him. You know what I'm saying? And the way you get this dude exchanging with you is cutting the ring off, closing the distance. And if you're able to get him in a firefight, you got to be able to keep your hands up. And that's imperative for both fighters. Keep your hands up. And, you got to be quick and decisive when you exchanging leather. You know what I'm saying? You got to put, quick shots together. You can't load up on one shot. You got to maybe shoot shot to the body, get on the inside, push him to the ropes, and show him that you're the physically stronger and more dominant guy. I think I'd like to see Charlo kind of push this guy back, jabbing to the solar plex, jabbing to the stomach. He's using his own double jab. He think a right hand coming to the top, drop the right hand to the body, loop the right hand. Give something different. He already seen where the trajectory of your right hand, which is coming, it's coming from right over. It's coming perfect from off your shoulder, right off your chin, and it's accurate. But I would like to see him loop it a little bit more. I like to see him drop the right hands to the body, but should be a very, very interesting fight for him, man. But he need to be more he need to be a lot more patient than he was in the last fight, because I think Harrison coming out there with something to prove. But just come out there, and not load up on one shot, close the distance, and put him in a position where he got to fight you, man. And if you put him in a position where you can drag Tony Harrison to his natural instinct, which is going blow for blow, I think, you might have a good chance. But Harrison is really, talking about him, he's changed. I think he's learned from his losses. You know what I'm saying? I think he knows that he at a level where, 1 or 2 big shots not going to knock somebody out. And that's the thing about this fight. Both of these dudes believe they got power. Jermell Charlo ain't a puncher. He trying to be like Big Bro so bad. But Harrison, he understand that he got to this level now that 1 or big 2 shots ain't going to put people down like he put down Bronco McCart. You know what I'm saying? He got to put together, multiple good shots, to get this guy out here. But, early on, he got to punch with this guy. Well, not going to say early on, but at some point, he got to punch with this guy. You know what I'm saying? Time this guy, hit him with the punch you don't see coming. A lot of the shots he hit Charlo with, he was able to brace for them shots. You know what I'm saying? So what better way is to drop some investment drop some water into the basement, invest into the body a little bit, And if you get Charlo hands to come down, then maybe you can clip him with that right hand or left hook, right hand combination. I can actually see that happening for the kid, man. But what he got to do is, man, some of those counter shots he throwing, if he gonna throw 1 or 2 shots, well, you got to sit down and bite down on some of those shots. You got to be able to operate like Floyd, catch, slip, and then return. See, it's cool to make a guy miss. And it's a myth out there that Willie Pep won a whole round without landing a punch. That's a myth. Ring generalship is making the guy miss. But then what also is great ring generalship, and that can result to a victory, is making him miss and hitting him. So he need to make this guy miss and hit him. And one thing I did notice, Charlo bending down low and Harrison just resetting or watching him bend down low and let him reset and get in position. If that joker get down low like that, it ain't no way that he gonna be able to get off clean, effective shots. He need to take advantage of that, man, getting low getting low like that, man. But I think it's gonna be a good fight. I think it's gonna be a real good fight. Obviously, I think people feel that Jermell Charlo and J-Rock is the fight people want to see the most. So people feel that Tony Harrison not gonna get a good decision versus Jermell Charlo from that aspect. But Jermell Charlo, he crying about a rematch, but he never gave Bonas Monterosian a rematch, and that's the problem. But the way I think this fight is actually gonna go is, I think Charlo gonna come out emotional and hot, throwing 1 or 2 big shots, and Tony Harrison come out dry. He could be susceptible to get knocked out quick, fast, in a hurry. So Tony Harrison need to be prepared, but it's nothing that he didn't see in the first fight. Jermell Charlo came out hot with 1 or 2 big shots in the first round, left hook, right hand, telegraphing those shots as he usually do. And if he can be like Sergio Martinez, which his coach pointed out a weakness on Paul Williams in the second fight, and they stopped him. It's openings there. Charlo is looking to load up on 1 or 2 shots, and if you able to double jab or touch him with a shot and then land a big shot behind it, then I think he's gonna have an opportunity to win the fight. But I like to see Tony Harrison be more aggressive. I like to see him, bite down. And I like to see him, touch Charlo up. But I think Charlo going to come out hot. I think nothing changed. He said he a better fighter since the Jorge Cota fight, since they fought before. I don't believe it. I think he's the same guy. But I would like to see Tony Harrison kind of, work off his aggression. But I also like to see him create his own aggression and kind of get back to what Tony Harrison do, because most people feel that Tony Harrison not going to get a fair shake. But it'd be funny to see if Jermell Charlo win a questionable decision, will he be man enough at some point to get Tony Harrison his rematch? And I know he won't. But I think it's gonna be a good battle of the jabs. I think Tony got the better jab, but whoever do this is gonna win this fight, right? Whoever put more than 2 shots together, whoever mixed in the soft shots with the hard shots, whoever able to counter and take advantage of when somebody leave themselves open, because there wasn't a lot of openings last fight. Both guys legitimately respected each other's power. At first, Jermell didn't respect his power. Look how he came out the first round. But I believe Tony Harrison hit him with something that put him back in his place. Even though Charlo was looking to be aggressive, he really wasn't selling out to be aggressive, because whatever he was getting hit with, he didn't like it. And Tony Harrison, only he can tell you if he got hit with something that truly hurt him or truly didn't like him. But these guys had a lot of respect for each other. The hands were always up, and when they landed cleanly with their 1 or 2 pity pat, well, I ain't gonna say pity pat shots. Think about Floyd. When they landed with their 1 or 2 shots, they earned them openings. So at the end of the day, for whoever want to take this fight, they got to be willing to throw more than 1 or 2 shots at a time, and they got to be willing to be able to take a risk and a gamble and time the other guy and punch with him. Because the shots that you don't see coming is the shots that hurt him. And when you get to this level, you can have Matisse, Mike Tyson type power. But when you get on this championship world-class level, you have to hit guys with the shots that they don't see coming. I say it again. You have to hit the guys with the shots they don't see coming. And how do you do that? By setting shots up, by counter punching, by dressing guys up, dropping punches to the body, knowing you intend to come back with a hard shot upstairs. So I think it's going to be a very, very interesting fight. I think it's going to be an entertaining fight. It's a way to close out the year for PBC Fox. Don't forget, next week they got Javante taking on Yuriorkis Gamboa in a snooze fest. Or it won't be a snooze fest, but really don't mean nothing in the grand scheme of things unless Tank lead. But This is a hard fight, man. To be honest, man, me going into this prediction video, I didn't even know what the winner would be. Obviously, my fandom is with Tony Harrison. I think it's going to be a fantastic fight. But I know Tony Harrison probably going to be behind 8 Ball due to promotion, through the PBC trying to sell better tickets. But I don't think Jermell and J-Rock is a huge mega ticket seller. But you know what? Got a great backstory with Jermell already knocking out J-Rock. But to be honest, I haven't made a pick on this fight. Even coming in, I watched the fight a couple times, 3 or 4 times since it happened. And, you know, I just feel that if Charlo is able to cut the ring off and he able to pin Tony into a corner, he might have a great chance to win. But you know what? I'm going to pick Tony Harrison to get the victory. I'm going to roll with the hometown guy. The first fight I scored a draw. It was razor close. It wouldn't surprise me if Jermell came out there and knocked him out. But I think Tony Harrison is still being rolled off. I still think he got the underdog mentality. Jermell Charlo felt that he won. I don't think he feel that he need to switch nothing up. Only when you still complaining about the judges, you still complaining about the last fight. I don't think he completely moved on. So I do think it's a little chip in his confidence, and I think Tony Harrison can crack that chip. I think can chip that chip again. He can shatter his confidence. So I like Tony Harrison to stop him in 11. You know, I like Tony Harrison to stop him in 11, but it wouldn't surprise me if Charlo won. But I think whoever wins, it's going to win by knockout, man. I think Harrison is going to be able to take it up another level. I think he had a good camp. I think Jermell probably had a good camp as well. But I think Tony Harrison felt like he lost that fight. That's how he's feeling now. Not because he actually didn't win the fight, only because society, Lennox Lewis and them saying that he lost the fight. And I think he's going to come out there with something to prove. I think he's going to make an adjustment. I think he's going to come out there more aggressive. And I think he's going to put it on him. You know what I'm saying? I really do. But, you know, like I said before, to be honest, these dudes are pretty much evenly matched. You know, they're pretty much evenly matched. People looking at the 2 losses. 2 losses was Tony being inexperienced. You know, kind of remind you of Anthony Yarde and Kovalev, where he would have went to the body. You know, he probably would have beat Kovalev. And if, you know, Tony Harrison didn't punch himself out versus Willie Nelson, and he thought Willie Nelson had this glass chin, if he didn't punch himself out, then you're looking at a different situation. If he didn't punch himself out versus Jerry Hurd, he went to Jerry Hurd body more, maybe you're looking at a different situation. But to be honest, he fought the better guys. He did. And I think he can do what John Jackson did. And that's completely, if he step his offense up, completely outclass Jermell. But John Jackson stopped punching for whatever reason it is. But I'm going to roll with Tony Harrison, man, in 11. I think it's going to be entertaining. If Charlo win, he win. Like I said, the first time I scored a draw. But I think if he going to win, he going to cut the ring off better. And he going to have to do things different. But me, personally, I don't think he come to grips to actually losing that fight. And I think him complaining and blaming the world for that fight ain't no good. But also the conspiracy theory brother, I'm going to put my conspiracy brother hat on as well. I don't think PBC completely is cool with Jermell Charlo, especially after his brother made that comment about Crawford, saying he just like Crawford, you know, on the wrong side of the street. Paraphrasing, but you know, I remember he was at the Brandon Adams press conference with people believing that they might rob Tony Harrison just to play kind of devil's advocate. They was believing he was at the Adams press conference for his brother fight when Jamal fought Brandon Adams in Houston. He got up there talking shit and they cut his microphone off. You know what I'm saying? I believe they trying to tame that lion, man. And I don't think he knows how much he's rubbing media members the wrong way. And how much PBC might have something against him, but I think, you know, they may give Tony Harrison the benefit of the doubt, you know. But maybe if J-Rock and Jermell Charlo that big of a fight, maybe they go that way. But hopefully it's an honest fight. Hopefully we don't need the 3 judges. But I got Tony Harrison knocking him out 11. You know what I'm saying? I can see it going the completely other way. But that's my humble opinion, man. I struggle with this one, man. I can see Mel winning this fight, but I'm gonna ride with Tony Harrison. Winning this fight, man. But shout out to Tony Harrison. Shout out to Jermell Charlo. Hopefully everybody healthy. Hopefully everybody come out the ring healthy and able to provide for their family. And hopefully they establish a mutual respect for each other after the fight. But don't forget, we on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Reach out to the email if you got a business question, inquiry, sponsorship, video request. Want to make a donation? That link's in the description. Best way to donate, share the video. And let me know who y'all got winning in the comment section. Once again, we on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. My email there if you need to get in touch with me. Don't forget, it's on Free Fox this Saturday, December 21st. And don't forget it, man. Harrison in 11, throwing his tile style. KO. One time for the one time. It's your boy CJ Goodfella. Appreciate it, man. And yeah, undercard sucked though. Let me say that. But main event fire.